At number 4. The Amarr are personally my favorite race in EVE Online due to their story, but from an Alpha Clone PVE perspective, they do fall to the bottom of my list. They have so many cons when it comes to PVE. Their biggest con is probably their primary weapon system only uses 2 damage types, EM and Thermal, where the other races generally get 4, adding kinetic and explosive to their armaments. The laser weapons of the Amarr need to be relatively close to the target, so a lot of ships can kite outside the range of enemy PvE vessels and still apply decent damage. The Amarr cannot do that. Their only real drone boats are the Dragoon, which is a destroyer that its primary is energy neutralizing that does nothing in PvE, and the Arbitrator, which is a cruiser that has weapon disruption as its other primary stat. Again, does not do much, if anything, for PvE. So, if I knew someone was coming into the game to only be an alpha pilot, I would tell them to go with one of the other 3 races. But if they were to continue on, play the game, and eventually plan on going to an Omega clone, Amarr would be the way I would go, just due to the backstory. At number 3. The Minmatar. It falls number 3 on my list, just barely above the Amarr due to its primary weapon system having 4 damage types, which means no matter what sort of PvE target you're shooting at, there is an ammo that they are weak against. The Minmatar lack a drone boat of any kind for the Alpha client. Their primary weapon systems do a fair amount of damage, but they also don't get any bonuses to any sort of tanking ability, causing them to have issues in sites where they take a lot of damage, where they only have to really rely on their speed to get them through it. At number 2. The Caldari state has long been near the top of the hill for PvE. Their primary weapon system is the missile launcher. Missiles can be any of the 4 damage types and can have a very good range. Missiles have the benefit of not being able to miss if the target is in range. The ability to tank a Caldari ship has always been impressive, so the Caldari earn their spot at number 2. And finally, at number 1, the Gallente Federation. The primary weapon system for many of the Gallente ships is the drone. If you haven't noticed, I put a lot of emphasis on drones throughout this video. This is because the current PvE state of the game relies heavily on them. With drones, distance does not play as large of a role as it does with other damage types. If the target is in your drone control range, you will do the same amount of damage if the target is close up or far away. You will not need to sacrifice tracking for range, and for new players, the drones will do a lot of the work for them. One of the very best ships in the game for PvE, or even Omega clone, is the VNI, or Vexor Navy issue. The Alpha clones still have access to the ship, and the only real downside is that the Alpha clones cannot use the heavy drones that a lot of the Omega clones use, so they'll be forced into the medium drone role. And the fact that drones have to be micromanaged a little bit. They can be destroyed or left behind, but overall the Gallente are at the top of the hill for PvE and will remain there for the foreseeable future.